Hey everybody, this is D Hunter, bringing another action figure review. Today, we're going to look at the McFarlane DC Multiverse, McFarlane Toy Store exclusive, Gold Label Collection, Arkham Knight Red Hood. Now it's not too often that you get the Gold Label variation before the standard version. This is Red Hood from Arkham Knight, after he finished being the Arkham Knight and became Red Hood in the post-game DLC. But this guy is all done in red, different shades of red. I see some black there too. It's a cool variant, but like I said, unusual to get the variant before the regular thing. Really looking forward to the regular version of Red Hood from Arkham Knight. It's a really cool figure. So let's go ahead and check out the packaging. As you can see at the top, 22 moving parts, McFarlane Toys, ages 12 plus, McFarlane Gold Label Collection, DC Multiverse, Red Hood. Here he is in the package. Looks like he has 2 alternate hands, totaling 4 interchangeable hands, and then some sort of energy effects, punching effects, something like that. He also has a display stand and a collector's card. Of course, Red Hood normally would have guns, but Warner Brothers has a no gun mandate. No officially licensed DC figures are allowed to come with guns in any way, shape, or form, so it really hurts characters like Red Hood. One side of the package, Red Hood from Batman Arkham Knight. Other side, simply says Red Hood. At the bottom, got a bunch of credits, and there is a barcode, in case that helps anybody. And on the back side, here's Red Hood posed up. So with no further ado, let's open him up. And I did end up getting 2 of these figures, one of which to open and enjoy, and the other one to keep unopened in my complete Batman-related unopened action figure collection. Alright, now that we got this figure out of the package, here he is with all his accessories laid out. He does come with 2 alternate hands, totaling 4 interchangeable hands, 2 sort of action effects for when he uses his fist to punch somebody. He also has a display stand and a collector's card. One thing that's noticeably missing are some guns. Warner Brothers has a no gun mandate. No officially licensed DC figures can come with guns in any way, shape, or form. And Red Hood's specialty is using guns, so that's quite disappointing. So this is Red Hood, Jason Todd from Arkham Knight. In the game, he was Arkham Knight for the majority of the game. This is after the game has ended. He became Red Hood, a vigilante in Gotham City. In his DLC, you actually end up killing Black Mask. Not only that, but this is a McFarlane Toy Store exclusive, Gold Label, all red, Red Hood. It's a paint variant. There's going to be a standard version of this coming out in the near future, and I'm really excited for that figure. But in the meantime, this will have to do. This does look fantastic, and it's not the figure just purely painted red. He has a ton of different paint details and variations. So let's take a look. Start with his face here. He's got that hood over his head. Looks great. And then, of course, the Red Hood helmet. You can sort of pull the hood back, and you can see the helmet. It looks great. He's got this jacket. Many, many different shades of red all over this figure. It all looks very nicely. Bat symbol on his back. Bat symbol on his chest. Double jointed elbows. Double jointed knees. Something absent are some holsters. I can handle missing the guns because I have plenty of guns, but no holsters to put them into. That is frustrating. I do understand not giving a figure blank holsters with no guns, but still. I just really like the different shading. Sort of a little brown red, darker red, some lighter red. It all pops and looks very nice together. And just like a closer look at its face and head sculpt, the helmet is pretty smooth. Typical Red Hood helmet. And got the hood covering it up. I know I'm repeating myself, but it all looks very good. And then, here's the figure broken down as far as he can go, with all of his removable parts detached. Now let's take a look at his accessories, and let's start off with the boring stuff. Here's his display stand. Typical McFarlane stand. Black perfect circle. Says DC on the bottom. It's got 1 peg for the peg holes on his feet. Very thin. Very basic. Now let's look at his collector's card. As you can see, it's an image of Red Hood from Arkham Knight. He's in his regular outfit. It looks fantastic. Red Hood from Batman Arkham Knight. On the back, there is a description if you want to read that. Go ahead and pause now. Now let's look at his hands. He has 2 pair, 2 fists, and 2 trigger hands. Here he is, with his first pair of hands. These are his fists. And here's his other pair of hands. These are some gripping hands with trigger fingers. McFarlane gave him trigger holding hands, but no guns, and it's not their fault. You can probably use some of the older Red Hood guns, or some of the guns that came in the McFarlane weapons pack. Although if you give him guns, he'll have no holsters to hold them, but plenty of ammo clips on his side. Now let's look at his action effect pieces. Really not sure why he would come with something like this. I guess they felt bad that they couldn't give us guns. He's got one smaller piece here. They're both casted in sort of semi-transparent red. Should fit around his fist and be punching him here. This will be the point of impact. Then he's got this one, sort of like a wind effect. Gonna be behind him when he's in motion, punching somebody. At least that's the best I can come up with these things. Here's the first punching effect attached to his fist. Here's Red Hood punching a Joker henchman with this action effect accessory. And here he is, punching or uppercutting the Joker thug with the other effect. Now let's see if I can find some guns that'll work with this Red Hood. In front of you, we've got 3 different pairs of guns. On the top, there are the pistols that came with the McFarlane weapons pack. The silver ones came with a previous McFarlane Red Hood, and the bottom 2 came with a Mattel Red Hood. I'm going to try all 3 of these, but I'm really hoping the smaller Mattel versions work, as the color would be perfect for this Red Hood. Here he is, with the larger pair of pistols from the McFarlane weapons pack. He should work fine with the smaller pair as well. And here, with the first McFarlane Red Hood's pistols. These pistols do seem a little bit too big for his hands, but not by much. And here's Red Hood with those red pistols. They're not quite as good of a fit, a little too small, but I think we have a winner here. They just work with him so well color-wise. Now I was curious if I could attach some holsters to this guy. Here's my Gotham Knights Red Hood. I attached some holsters to him, and coincidentally, the holsters are in red. Those holsters came with the unmasked Thomas Wayne Flashpoint Batman. The masked version has the same holsters. I took the figure apart and had to kind of rip those holsters off. So I don't really want to do that again, as this is my last unmasked Thomas Wayne figure. That Thomas Wayne can be found for pretty cheap online, so if this works, I may seek down another one. This belt and holster set is just sort of loose on this guy. I mean, they're tight, they fit good, but they're not permanently attached. So I'm going to heat them up, pop these off, and see if they work on this Red Hood. So I brought some water to a boil, dipped these figures in there for a minute or 2. I was able to pop them apart no problem. That's one cool thing about McFarlane figures. They're really easy to take apart, part swap, customize, etc. I freed up this holster and belt set here. This is the exact same way you would take it off the Flashpoint Batman. And you know what? I think it works pretty good. Yeah, I had to put it on top of his existing belt, but it covers everything up, and the paint scheme really matches this Red Hood. I think I'm probably going to go online and find an extra Flashpoint Batman so I can do this. And those pistols may be a little small, but they do fit into these red holsters. So bam, here's my modified, all red, Arkham Knight Red Hood. Now that we've taken a pretty good look at both the figure and his accessories, now let's check out his height. From bottom to the top of his head, he's standing at about 7.3 inches tall, which can translate to about 18.5 centimeters. Now let's check out his articulation. Start with his head here. Now his head, it can rotate from side to side. It can look up a little bit, down. Very obstructed with the hood here, but it functions pretty nicely. Only problem, you can't really turn the hood, so it looks a little weird when his head is looking that way and his hood is still straightforward. But they did the best they could. Shoulders on a ball joint, goes at more than 90 degrees, up, down, around, all that good stuff. As far as butterfly joints go, I don't think he has it. He has his jacket covering up that area. It still has that extra range of motion. Looks like bicep cut below that. Double jointed elbows below that. His wrist, kind of rotate. And it is hinged. There we go. And his torso here, he's got a ball joint at the top, rotate around, forward and back. Another one on his waist, rotate around, forward and back, giving him really wide range of motion in his torso area. And it looks pretty natural for the most part. I mean, if you pull it up, you can kind of see in there, it looks a little bad. But better than a lot of other figures out there. Legs, almost complete of splits. Not a ball joint, but a similar type concept. Rotation is non-existent. Go forward about that far, not too much. Back about that much. Double jointed knees. Then his ankle here. Forward and back. Rotate. Tilt. Rock. To articulation. Kind of limited with the pant leg here. Here's a look at a Red Hood in a factory type setting. This is the Sionis steel mill from Arkham Origins and Arkham City. We've got Black Mask here over the railing. Some of his thugs or henchmen in the background. On the next level, some more Black Mask thugs. And on top, Red Hood looking down below, planning out his next move. It starts off with Red Hood on top of the steel mill fixture. He's thinking about how he's going to take down Black Mask thugs. He looks down and sees 3 of them on the top level. He uses his grapnel and takes out the first thug, and then jumps down and opens fire on the next 2. Black Mask and his thugs are looking up toward Red Hood. They know something's coming for them. Red Hood jumps down, confronting Black Mask. Black Mask thugs will not allow this. They start firing toward Red Hood. He goes to deal with them next. After he's finished with them, he looks back for Black Mask and sees he is gone. Red Hood is searching through the steel mill, through the factory, looking all over the place for Sionis. Black Mask is sitting around the corner, just waiting for Red Hood to come. Black Mask comes out, confronting Red Hood. They both open fire. Red Hood doesn't hesitate, pulls out his pistol and fires at Black Mask. Whether it's lethal or non-lethal rounds, you decide. Now let's check them out, next to some other action figures, starting off with some other Red Hood figures. Normally, I would compare this guy with the standard paint job of the Arkham Knight Red Hood, but for whatever reason, they released the variant before the regular thing. Kind of unusual. Here's the McFarlane Arkham Knight Red Hood, next to the DC Direct Arkham Knight Red Hood. This is how the regular paint job will look when McFarlane releases that figure. This is a fantastic figure from DC Direct. It was a GameStop exclusive, and it's quite valuable nowadays. And looking at him, he doesn't have holsters either. The same magazines on the side. Here's this Arkham Knight all red Red Hood, next to McFarlane's first release of Red Hood. This is based off his look in the New 52, which is his classic biker, Bat Ally look, and it's a fantastic, solid release. And of course, they did release an unmasked variant of this one. Next, they released Red Hood from Batman 3 Jokers, another solid release. And here's the Gotham Knights Red Hood, who sacrifices holsters for this Arkham Knight one. And this Gotham Knights Red Hood also got a variant, unpainted artist proof. Here are all the different Red Hood Jason Todd figures McFarlane has made so far. We know we're getting a regular paint variant of the Arkham Knight, and I think there might possibly be an Injustice 2 one coming up. Red Hood's got a lot of love, cool character, very popular. Then, here he is, next to all the different DC Direct and DC Collectibles Red Hood figures. Here he is, with a couple of Mattel Red Hood figures. Then, next to an amazing Yamaguchi Red Hood. And here, next to a custom Red Hood I made many years before any company made one. Here are all the different Red Hood figures that I have. Quite the collection. Here's Red Hood, next to the McFarlane DC Multiverse Arkham Knight. Arkham Knight technically is Jason Todd, although in my action figure world, I'm using it as Astrid Arkham, a completely different character. Here's this Red Hood, next to all 3 Arkham Knight figures that I have. Arkham Knight is technically Jason Todd. We've got the McFarlane, DC Direct, and Amazing Yamaguchi versions. And here he is, next to Jason Todd as Hush, by DC Direct and Mafex. Then, next to a DC Direct, Jason Todd as Batman. Here he is, next to a custom 7-inch scale Jason Todd in civilian attire. And here, with a custom Jason Todd 6-inch scale in civilian attire. And I always thought these McFarlane Red Hood figures looked really good on this Hasbro G.I. Joe Classified Baroness motorcycle. The color scheme is red, has some guns on it, seems to fit him pretty nicely. I like pretty much everything about it. Now Jason Todd takes the identity Red Hood to sort of mock Joker. Joker started out as Red Hood, then fell into a vat of chemicals and became the Joker. Here's the Jason Todd Red Hood, next to a couple of DC Direct Joker's Red Hood figures. And here, with the DC Direct Capullo Red Hood gang. Now let's check them out, next to some other McFarlane DC Multiverse figures. Here are all the different Red Hood McFarlane figures. Then, next to McFarlane's Arkham Knight, here's this gold label Red Hood, next to the gold label Amber paint variant of Scarecrow. Can't wait for the regular versions of both these guys. These guys came together in a bundle from the McFarlane toy store. And here, next to the Arkham Knight Batman, here are all the different Arkham Knight figures McFarlane has made so far. We know we're getting a regular version of Red Hood and Scarecrow, and I would welcome anything else they want to give us from Arkham Knight. Here are all the Arkham Asylum figures McFarlane has made. Killer Croc, Batman and Joker, only really 3 different characters. Hoping they do more from each and every one of these games. Now, they didn't make any figures from Arkham City yet, but there's a whole bunch of them coming. I've seen pictures of the infected Joker. He's a single figure, and then rumor is the next Build-A-Figure wave is going to be Batman, Catwoman, Ra's al Ghul, and Penguin. Collect to build Solomon Grundy, and there should also be black and white variants available of those. Nothing's been confirmed, but it seems pretty likely that's the case. Here's Red Hood, next to the Arkham Origins Deathstroke. Here's Red Hood, next to McFarlane's Gotham Knights figures. Gotham Knights is an upcoming DC game, comes out in October. It is unrelated to the Arkham franchise. And then, here he is, next to McFarlane's Injustice 2 collection. Green Arrow, Reverse Flash, Flash, Gorilla Grodd, and Dr. Fate. Injustice 2 is another DC game that's also unrelated to the Arkham franchise. Here's Red Hood, next to a couple of Mortal Kombat 11 Jokers. Mortal Kombat 11 is not a DC game, but does feature some Easter egg DC characters. Now let's check them out, next to some other recently released McFarlane DC Multiverse figures. Here he is, next to the 2 most recent Mega figures, Bane and Necron. Then, next to the Court of Owls Talon, and the Infinite Frontier Scarecrow. And here he is, next to the Walmart exclusive gold label Azrael Batman armor, and Parallax Hal Jordan. Then, with the Future State Superman and the New 52 Static Shock. Here's Red Hood, next to the first series of Page Punchers. Still need to get that black and white Black Adam. Then, next to the Black Adam movie figures. And now, with the Blackest Nightwave, collect to build Atrocitus. Here's Red Hood, next to Martian Manhunter, both Classic and Rebirth. Then, next to both versions of the Future State Dark Detective Batman. And here he is, with all 3 variations of Lex Luthor in his power suit. Then, with Duke Thomas from Tales from the Dark Multiverse, and the Batman Who Laughs dressed as Batman. And now, standing next to both versions of the Zernar Batman, and all 3 versions of the Infinite Frontier Robin. Here's Red Hood, next to the Batman vs. Hush 2-pack. And here, next to the single release of Hush. Then, next to Ghostmaker. Here he is, next to the John Kent Superboy, and the Tim Drake Red Robin. And finally, next to the Grifter, and the Arkham Knight. Now let's check him out, next to some action figures from different various companies, to see how he fits in both scale and style-wise, in case you want to know which lines you can mix with. Since he's a McFarlane figure, they're typically the 7-inch scale. I'm going to start off my comparisons with some of the large action figure lines I collect, and work my way smaller. But first, let's check him out with some of his McFarlane Toys brothers. In front of you are 5 different action figure lines, all from McFarlane Toys, all 7-inch scale. Then, with some more McFarlane Toys. These are from different various video game properties. And now, next to some Jack-specific wrestling figures. And here he is, next to some DST, or Diamond Select toys. Then, next to some DC Direct and DC Collectibles figures. And here he is, with some NECA figures. Then, next to some Mattel wrestling figures. And now, next to some Jazzwares AEW wrestlers. And here he is, next to some Mezco 112 collected figures. Then, next to some Mattel DC Universe Classics and Multiverse figures. And here he is, with some Mafex figures. Then, with some Hasbro Marvel Legends. And here he is, next to some SH Figure Arts action figures. And finally, next to some Jazzwares Fortnite figures. So overall, it's a pretty cool figure. but it's just a paint variant of the regular release, which is not out yet. This guy's paint job is pretty cool. It's not a solid red. There's probably 4 different shades of red on there. It contrasts very nicely, and it's very pleasing on the eyes. His accessories are cool, but I really don't want those action effects where he punches people. You know what he needs. He needs some pistols. I get it's not McFarlane's fault, but don't try to make up for it with some junk that I really have no place with Red Hood. His articulation is everything you would expect from a McFarlane DC Multiverse figure. It's pretty good, although the head leaves a little bit to be desired. I kind of wish the hood was a separate piece so you can move it around with the head. Sculpt and paint job are fantastic. No issues there. I did notice when I used some of the larger pistols, a little bit of paint started to chip off his hands, and that was kind of disappointing. If I were to rate this guy, I'm going to give it a 7 out of 10. I'm probably going to give the regular version 8 or 8.5 out of 10, as this figure is very nice, but I much prefer the standard paint version to this paint variant. So this is D Hunter. Thank you guys for watching this video. If you liked the video, press like below. If you have anything you want to say with the video, add it to the comment section. If you want to see additional action figure reviews from me, press subscribe. I do appreciate when you do that. Once again, this is D Hunter. Thank you guys for watching this video, and I'll talk to you guys real soon.